Can you imagine if you woke up and this was the first thing you saw when you opened your eyes? Well, hello, my name is Uni, and welcome back to my 1.19 Let's Play series. And today I'm just hanging out with my dogs, or at least my little wolf pack here that has been tamed into some dogs. Yeah, yeah. Now, I need to make up some names for them, of course, but I need more name tags, so I'm going to go ahead and go out there eventually and grab some. But for now, they're just going to kind of hang out here next to my little storage area over by my alpine campsite. And let's go ahead and take a little nappy here while I mention the fact that I have adjusted a few things. For now, I'm deciding I'm going to go ahead and play in at least 18 render distance for now. Mostly because we're going to be dealing with a lot of things around us that are kind of up and out there. And I'm going to be flying around a bit more, or at least that's the hope. I want to fly around more often so you guys can see more of what's in the world here. And of course, we have from last episode the big old observatory here that I have to I'm trying to land inside of every single time now in a nice way, but I missed that time, whatever. But last episode we made this observatory with this giant telescope here, and of course we have the terraces outside here. But another little change is I kind of adjusted my microphone levels, so hopefully it's a little bit louder, a little less bassy, but a little more, clear and crisp. And so I guess before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, I just want to mention this little tiny offshoot here of the path that is finally actually built. I made it off camera here. Don't worry about that. That's none of your business here. Don't worry. But anyways, yes, it's just a nice, simple little path that goes all the way down to the road over here. And then, of course, you can see the hexagon, which, guess what, we're going to be working on finally today. Oh my God, it's been, I keep talking about it over and over again, but let's not worry about that quite yet, because over here is a nice little parking area up on top of our ridge. And it connects right to the road here, which goes all the way down, and it zigzags all the way up here and comes all the way over here. And then you just kind of park whatever you're driving. It's a one-way or one-lane road. You're not going to be getting much out of this, and if there's a car coming up and you're coming down, you're going to have to go to the shoulder, or one of them's going to have to back up and go beep, beep, beep all the way back down. So regardless, we have a nice little design of all these cracked portions of the parking area, and the reason these are cracked and filled with water is because a lot of the times in a big, snowy area with ice and whatnot, especially when it's melting, the sun will melt the ice, and then it'll refreeze overnight or something, and then it'll melt again in the day, and then it'll just keep doing that over and over again. And since we are in perpetual spring here, all the water has melted, but it's left behind a bunch of these little cracks here. And that's a very common thing at a ski resort or a place that has snow and ice. So just a little detail that I wanted to go ahead and add into this place, but now we have to go over here because we are finally doing something with the big hexagon today. Oh, whoops. I left a bed here. I don't know why that's still here, but we got to move that because we have to put this on the edge of the hexagon, because today we are going to be actually building not only from the bottom as we did a few episodes ago. Of course, we can check that out in a second here, but we need to build this whole thing up, like 30 blocks or something, I believe. But let's go ahead and set that down there. And let's go ahead and start explaining with a little bit of a small diagram here at the base to show you what is going to be going up. And pesto presto, just like that, we have ourselves a good little diagram here to follow for the time lapse that we will be doing very soon. But let me just throw this all back into my little box here. I am going to be getting more boxes in a second, but oh man, look at that. I love looking at this thing from far away. It looks so it looks grand. It looks like it's just meant to be there or something like that. But here we go. We have the outline, of course. This is going to be a lawn on the outside here. There will be grass and moss in here and all sorts of little bushes and trees and branches and all sorts of things that will, eventually culminate into a nice little garden area. And then on this big hexagon here, of course, the main attraction of today's episode is going to be a giant tower going up, as I said before. Now, what we need to do is we have to do a bit of a color palette first to explain how this is going to go up. Now, this here is a color palette. This is probably the most complicated one that I've done so far. And where we're starting off here, I don't know why I took a screenshot, but we're starting off on this. Oh, what is it called? Oh no. Okay, yeah, polished black stone bricks. Yes, I had to go into my inventory for that one. But then we have the smooth basalt. We have the deep slate cobblestone going to the tuft. And then when we get here to the cobblestone, wherever there is water, we're going to have the mossy cobble and the moss as well. Wherever we have some like water falling down. And then of course there's going to be a lot of water in this tower here. You'll see how that all ties up at the end of the episode here, hopefully. I'm hoping to get to that point. This might take a long time, but after the cobble, we go into the stone, the andesite, the stone, whatever you call these things. I always forget. Smooth stone. Yeah, that's right. And then we have the andesite, I believe. Oh, no, andesite here, diorite here, the polished diorite. Then we have the calcite, the white concrete, the quartz bricks, and then the smooth quartz block. And this will be near the top of the build. Now this portion here is going to be wherever there is like a portion of the tower that is kind of like jutting out or spiking upwards. And you'll see what that is in a moment here because we are getting close to the time lapse. But over here, you'll see less of this because it'll be near the base. And then you'll see a lot of this, of course, by the water. But there we go. We have ourselves a nice little color palette here for the entire thing. And, well, at this point, seeing is better than believing because you gotta see this time lapse here. It's coming up and we have to get building right now. Can you imagine if you woke up and this was the first thing you saw when you opened your eyes? Well, maybe you did because if you watched this video right when you started your morning, it probably was the case. But anyways, this is the inside of what we just built here. And what we have to look at here is not much going on the interior. There's lots of these open windows and doorways and whatnot, but those are going to be partitioned. And I'm going to make this all the way over to here, kind of a big old walled off area, and it's going to be a prison. Now, the prison itself isn't exactly going to be built yet, but eventually we'll just wall that off in just a second here. But we got to go outside and take a look at what we have done during that time lapse because this thing is a huge tower and it's got quite a bit of stuff going on that I need to explain as always. But oh man, I love my little valley here. That thing is so cool. But this, if you look at it from the side, you will kind of see the prison sort of look to this. It's got that very compartmentalized, very, I guess it would just be very square. There's not much going on this side. There is a bit of like an issue with like maybe shadowing here. I kind of have to fix it, I guess. Maybe, oh no, it's just because I'm not looking over the wall properly. There we go. But then we've also got a bit of a water patch, of course, because we are going to be adding water to this. So right here, there's a bit of a little spot where water would be flowing. And if we go over this way, you'll also notice there are plenty of other water patches where there are places the water will be falling and dripping down. Because if I didn't mention it in the previous episode, I'll mention it once again. there's going to be a water source deep within this mountain here. And the idea is that we're pumping the water all the way up. Now, there's not actually going to be an apparatus in this section of the building, but down below, I do still need to build that in the waterfall storage room, which we might as well go ahead and take a look at. Yeah, so right down here, if we just fly in again, I'm always really bad at flying through this thing, but right here in the middle is where the water is being pumped from the ground, kind of like a hydrothermal vent that goes all the way up into the bottom of the city. And if we were to just fly back out again, yes, I did it perfectly this time. It comes all the way to the top here where the spider is hanging out, and I am flying around quite a lot this episode. I don't know why, but right here is where the water eventually will pop up in sort of like a pool, and then it's going to fall down off to this side. I still have to add in the actual thing, and oh my god, I am taking lots of damage here, but you'll see it's going to go up against this wall. It's going to pool up here. It's going to go all over the place and just pour around everywhere, and these should be windows as well. So a few things we got to do still for the rest of today is we have to go ahead and compartmentalize this place so that I can deal with the interior properly in the future, not have to think about this huge mess I have going on, as well as we have all the water to put in, and then maybe add in a couple details, sprinkle it in here and there, and make things look a lot more better. Well, progress is going quite good on the prison side of our tower here. We have quite a lot of iron bars going on. We have some cells made, and I'll show you the inside in just a second here. But I just want to explain some of the texturing and shadowing that's going on. We have a nicer dark color around these corners of the actual hexagon tower here, and that is to show where there is just kind of like this sort of wear and tear. The grayer colors are where it's kind of, eroding a little bit. There's a bit of kind of like sun bleaching going on, and that is especially apparent near the top. So let's go ahead and actually fly up to that part. There's a lot of this white quartz and diorite and polished portions all within the top portion here, and some of it might actually be a little bit of bird poop, but let's not get too into that topic there. But then up here, of course, we have all these little kind of green patches. They're as manicured as the ones down there, and it's for every tier of the tower, of course. And then this is the front of the tower where we are going to be putting in more waterfalls. So this right here is just a prototype. I have to make a little pool for it, of course. But then we got some windows. I don't think they're actually fully complete yet. And the inside we'll check out, as I said, just a second from now. But the idea is that all this water is going to be falling down, and I'm going to build this out pretty soon here. There's another little portion, and if you look inside, I have some black concrete as kind of an allusion to the piping and the the tunnels of water that come throughout this place. But if we go in here, you'll notice we have this big tower of cell blocks over here, and this is all going to be partitioned out in a little bit, maybe another episode. The interior of this place is not going to get done because I have to upload this as usual the next day of recording. So don't worry, this has been a long work in progress, but today just happens to be Friday, and I got to get this out tomorrow. But over here we have the pinnacle, of course, and then if we just go back down to the bottom, you'll see that we have this nice grand entrance over here, and I want to make this look nice and pretty with a bunch of like foliage and flowers and all sorts of stuff. But for now, we got to go ahead and get some of the waterfalls in, because that is the last part of this build for today. All right, well, the perfect time to view this final product and perfect place is going to be at night in our observatory, and we're not going to quite look around just yet, but let's go ahead and head back over here. Also, I've been meaning to add in a little extra snow there, but I'm going to do that off camera because I might as well just do that on my own time. But here we go. Here it is. There we are. We have the big tower. We can view it from over here, and it looks nice at this angle. Oh my god, my inventory is chock full of stuff. I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you, but it happens to me all the time. And there it is. The entire tower is now pretty much done on the exterior. Let's go ahead and fly over there and check it out close and personally, because we have now finally added in the water features all the way around the outside. And let's go ahead and get a better angle just by flying in this direction. There we go. It's just oozing water everywhere. There's water coming out of every single crevice. But now, There's a reason that the water is only coming out from one side and not the other, and that has to do with the city layout here in the future. But of course, that is spoiling it, so I don't want to say too much about it. But it's nice that we can see our observatory, we can see our tower all in this one spot. And I am pretty happy with what we have. It will look a lot better once we have the city around it. But this is kind of like an experimental sort of first dealio with the city itself. And this tower is going to have some functionality, and I need to actually make a way up to my build here. So I'm just going to cut out that corner for a second here, but there we go. We have all the waterfalls, so many going on. There's a lot of water coming off this thing, and it's actually going to flow out of this hexagon and into the other areas of this entire place. But for now, this thing is pretty much done for the day. I think we have completed what we came out to do. But you know what? I think that's all we're going to do today, because it is finally time to wrap up today's episode. So, my name is Uni. I am jogging it out. Make sure to like this video if you really did. And please subscribe, because that would help out a lot. And I will see you guys next time.